Hi, this is Jeremy. Can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Thanks.
I just texted him.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jeremy. Can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Thanks.
Uh, you can start. I'll just shoot the breeze for a few minutes and hopefully,
Okay. I'll see if Jeff calls in.
yeah, if he calls back or if he texts him.
Okay.
I mean, I'll go with commercials so what we either way.
All right. All right. You all set there? Yep. All right. Let's get going here.
Broadcasting live from the Capital OTV studio, this is Racing Across America with Seth Merrow.
We would like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming events here at Capital OTV. Gulfstream Park's championship meet runs now through March 30th with high-quality action throughout, including the Florida Derby on Saturday, March 29th.
All right. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1, and Michael.
Good morning and welcome to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. I'm Seth Merrow. A little bit later on, we're trying to make contact with Jeremy Plonk, talk a little countdown to the Crown, kick off the countdown to the Crown season. As we took our first steps, and we'll get on some of the stakes action from last week, the first 3-year-old stakes weekend, which I thought was pretty good. And so we'll get some of Jeremy's thoughts there, who he's currently looking at his top 20 list. You can get the countdown to the Crown every Friday. Jeremy puts out a new edition, and it's nice. There's the top 20 previews of 3-year-old stakes races coming up, reviews from the previous week of stakes races. And this time of year, he also looks at some maiden breakers and some interesting allowance races as well. So again, we hope to have Jeremy shortly. And then a little bit later on, Jason Beem from Tampa Bay down. Speaking of 3-year-olds, they have the Pasco today. So we'll talk about that and a couple other nice stakes on the card down at Tampa this afternoon. So looking forward to that as well. Let me just alert you as to what is coming up with regard to promos and whatnot. Today is a fan appreciation day at Uncle Sam Lane's in Troy. If you're a patron out in that direction, if you would go ahead and stop by this afternoon, say hello, give us our chance to say thank you to you. As always on Fan Appreciation Day, PPs, the contest, where you get a chance to win a little extra something, and they're always fun. So, again, if you're in the area, stop by Uncle Sam Lane's this afternoon. Fan Appreciation Day. If you're heading to the clubhouse racebook today, or maybe we will attract you to come down, there's a $100 knockout challenge. That's this afternoon, right here at the clubhouse racebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Same spot you can swing by tomorrow for some football action as the season and the postseason ramps up. You can watch football right here. 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Grab a little lunch over at our food vendor, Black Bear, and as I say, have some one as well. There is today, let me alert you, $22,000 pick six carryover at Aqueduct. So it was a 5 for 6 payout yesterday at Aqueduct. And just looking here, wound up with an $8 horse, $35 horse, Moonlit Drive. Probably threw a little monkey wrench into some of the plans. 13.75 is a thing. So it wasn't crazy, but it wasn't hit. So the $22,000 pick six carryover today at Aqueduct. Speaking of promotions and pick bets and whatnot, yesterday, it's frustrating when you win and you're still kind of pulling your hair, whatever hair I have left. We had the Big Five bankroll yesterday promotion, and selected the team of 10, and everybody in the team 10, congratulations, you walked with a little free money, but it could have, should have been much better. Sitting in here, boom, 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 got through all the leg. Oh, and there was a bonus as well. The first leg, there was a dead heat, and we used both of the dead heat horses. So we're alive going forward with 2 tickets. And then subsequently, hit the second leg, hit the third leg, hit the fourth leg, and going into the last leg, I don't know whether I have to keep these here. I know vaguely what it was. 2 of the horses, since we had 2 tickets alive, 2 of the horses we were going to get 800, and one of them we were close to maybe 1,700. So they were all nice payouts. Subsequently, one of ours wins, and given the will pays that came up on the screen, expecting about $890, and then the payout comes up and it's $390, which is still, everybody got some free money, almost $40 for everybody on the team. But it was less than half of what the will paid. I was scratching my head. Well, we were having kind of a meeting in here at that point, here in the studio, and so I was just kind of half attending, and then when the race came on, watched, and we were all kind of rooting, and the horse scored, and we knew we got a winning ticket. But I didn't realize there was a late scratch, and the late scratch horse took some money, certainly, and what was popular on the tote board, let me put it that way. So certainly took some money into the pick 4. So when that one scratched, all of those people went to the post-time favorite, which wound up to be the winner. So that leads, it's like the worst case scenario. That then leads to the going from the will pay payout to the actual payout being less than half. It's just, but again, congratulations to the team. Everybody wound up with some free money, about $40. But it could have been much, much better. So it was a little bit frustrating, certainly, on that account. All right, I'm just checking. Again, we are trying to make contact with Jeremy Plonk, and we will continue to do that. Otherwise, I'll take a quick break and kind of sort things out. So if we don't get Jeremy, we can maybe shift gears here a little bit, but we will continue to try to make contact and talk. As I say, we'll come down to the crown and Jeremy Plonk. Hopefully, after this, stay tuned.
And you're quick.
So you can try it again.
No, and I was watching to see if he was going to call in, and
No, I'm saying you can try and see what happens.
Sorry, this is Jeremy. Can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Thanks.
All right, let me find, before you come back to me, so go to a slate. Let me see if I can pull up some mistakes for this before.
Sorry, this is Jeremy. Can't come to the phone right now. Please leave a message. Sorry, this is Jeremy. Can't come to the phone right now.
We can come back.
All right. Here we come. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and Mike.
Welcome back. Yeah, sometimes Jeremy Plonk again. We'll plug him in. Usually he's right there, so not sure what the situation is, but we will keep trying. And in the meantime, just to alert you to some of the stakes action coming up today. Again, we'll be joined a little bit later on by Jason Beem. Nice stakes down in Tampa today, highlighted by the Pasco, but it's also the Gasparilla, the Windward Last. So we'll hit on those stakes in a little bit with Jason Beem. But also at Aqueduct today, race number 2 is the ladies. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of the older stakes races on the calendar. Used to be a little more prominent as far as prestige. It's an ungraded stakes now, and there's only a field of 5 in here today. The Julie is Shining, the sibling from Malabat is in. I went with Tizzy in the Sky. Again, it's a reduced field of 5, so it's hard to get the juices flowing. Tizzy in the Sky is the 4 to 5 morning line favorite. Julie is Shining is 2 to 1. Julie Shining had a funny career. With the breeding, started out with a lot of promise and lived up to it. Won early and ran well early, but the buyer numbers just have never been super impressive. But he's had a nice little career. Again, sibling to Malabat, owned by Stone Street, trained by Todd Fletcher. Dylan Davis is on board today. He's taking a little break from Florida, where he's been going very well. So Julie Shining, certainly interesting. But again, I went with Tizzy in the Sky, also trained by Todd Fletcher, coming on the win early in December in the Go for Juan. Kendrick Carmouche on board, who now that the winter season is kicked off, Kendrick is going very well in New York. Keep your eyes on him. And I mentioned the 2 Canadian transplants. They're going to be interesting. Sabachi and Sophia Vivas. I have a feeling they'll both have decent winter weeks. And so far, their starts have been okay, haven't been spectacular or anything, but it's always tough to, get in and make connections with new barns and things, but keep your eyes on those 2 during the winter season as well. But in the ladies at Aqueduct, again, I'm 1-5-3 with Tizzy in the Sky on top out of the Go for Juan win last night. Julia Shining will be interesting. Evidencius in the 3rd slot, when the turnback alarm 2 back, and then went down to Laurel and ran 3rd in the stake last time to Christoph Kamat. If you look at an alternative that might have some value, that one could be a little bit interesting as well. So, ladies is, again, race 2 at Aqueduct today. A couple of stakes down at Gulfstream this afternoon. Again, we will feature this action this afternoon on OTV Live. But the 5th race today, the Gulfstream Park. 5th is the Sunshine Million, the Sunshine Philly and Mayor Turk. A mile on the grass. I used Great Venezuela on top. The Victor Barbosa runner comes in with a 4-race win streak. Has won 6 of 8 overall. Now, seems to be perhaps a little more of a sprinter, but I wouldn't rule out being able to go very well stretching to the mile today. I don't know what on that question. Do I have too short of a price, 8 to 5 on the morning line, and I have a feeling we will go shorter than that. But again, that's the judgment call that has to be made. Ashima, I think, can be a player. This one in generous 8 going on the morning line also brings in a win streak of 3, maybe against a little bit lesser company, but I think he's very playable off the recent good form. And Mary Quay Contrary, interesting runner throughout the career, over $700,000 in the bank, 20 starts, 7 wins, 5 seconds, 3 thirds. Has never tried the turf before. Last couple of races were on the synthetic. They were a mixed bag. 2 back okay. Last time not so much. So we'll see what Mary Quay Contrary does this afternoon on the grass. But again, it's a horse that so far in the career has put together a nice little record. So I don't think that one should be ignored this afternoon. Also, the Sunshine Classic, State Friends, going like the Sunshine Preliminary Turf. Again, these are state bred races. But the Sunshine Classic, mile and 16, for 4-year-olds up. For me, put the 4 on top. Secret Chat goes out for Victor Barbosa. Again, a little bit of a win streak, one of the last couple of races. 7 furlongs, 2 back, a mile last time. Now gets to a 2-turn race. I'm just looking like 1 2-turn race on the resume. It was a 4th place finish, but it was the Lexington last year, Keeneland. So, they obviously had a little ambition for this horse as a 3-year-old. Didn't quite live up to it, had an abbreviated season, but now undefeated since coming back late in the 4-year-old season. Now, late in the 3-year-old season. Had that layoff from Keeneland, Lexington in April until November. So the last couple of races in the 3-year-old season off that layoff, a couple of wins, I think he kicked off the 4-year-old season. Similarly, awesome train in the 2nd spot. And the one on the morning line for Antonio Ciano, who hit a career milestone, I think it was 1,000. He hit a career milestone earlier this week or right at the end of last week. But regardless, we've had him on the show before. Nice guy and a good trainer, and has this one in good form. Again, class-wise, this may be a little saltier, but I think in the good form that one fits. And if you get the morning line, becomes very playable. And that went outside the big Martini. Now the big question mark here: Rohan Creighton, trainee, Racing Stakes winner over at Tampa last time. I think there's a solid fit in here, and I think it's very logical. But a mile and 16 hung out for the 12 post. You're going to be up against it a little bit there. We'll see if Raylu Gutierrez can manage to get some kind of a trip out of that one. Yeah, I didn't want to leave it out because I think if the horse does stick, I couldn't put it up any higher on the outside post position because again, that will be a little bit of a strong certainly. Excuse me for checking. Okay. We'll take a quick break. Jeremy sent me a text, so we'll hop on board with him hopefully after the break. Stay tuned.
Your click.
Haven't signed up for a Capital TV account yet? Now is the time to take advantage of the sign-up bonus. Open up a new account.
Hey, sorry, my phone was in some weird mode where it wasn't expecting anything.
I was assuming something weird was happening because we just kept getting your voicemail.
Yeah, no, I had like some moonscape on it within sleep mode or something. I had to get my wife to figure out how to take it off.
Very good. All right, we'll do abbreviated because I got Jason Beem at 10:30, but we'll hit on a little countdown. I don't know. No, that's perfectly fine. I had the 4 stakes from last weekend, and then Rodriguez and John Hancock. Does anything like what 3 of those maybe jump out at you? Should we hit on Rodriguez and John Hancock?
Yeah, and then the same with the day.
Okay. All right, that's what we'll do.
If you had to pick three, yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect. All right, I think we're in the last commercial.
Yep, about almost 15 seconds.
All right, 15 seconds.
15. Stand by. Stand by. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. Yes, we are happy to be joined now by Jeremy Plonk. A little phone trouble there. We have all had it with the technology, but we have made connection now and happy to do so because I said last Sunday morning when I went over some of the Saturday stakes action, we're on the road now. We're on the road. The first steps were taken last Saturday on the road to the Triple Crown and Countdown to the Crown, the great package Jeremy does every Triple Crown season is underway. You can catch it every Friday. If you go to Jeremy's Twitter page, you can also link the various things as well. His Substack, his podcast with Jeff Siegel, which is a lot of fun to listen to as well. But Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be with you. It's the pressure of going on before Jason Beem, I think. That's a lot of pressure. He's so good on these stuff. But no, I apologize for phone issues. I think I was in sleep mode or something like that on my phone. So that's what you get for trying to get an old guy on a cell phone.
Well, I'm in sleep mode most of the time, just myself. So, all right, let's jump. Oh, before I do it, just talk a little bit about Countdown to the Crowd, and I read, the 20th year. That's incredible,
Yeah.
and it's been fun, checking in with you during the season for a while now, going back. So just talk a little bit about where people can find it, and what day of the week it's updated, and hit on a little bit your podcast as well.
Sure. Yeah, Countdown to the Crown is published every Friday. It's usually out by late morning East Coast time. You can go to countdowntothecrown.com or you can go to Substack where it will be sent to you directly to your email. Jeremy Plonk, my name, .substack.com, and then you can sign up for free there, and it's sent out free each week through Substack, so you get it to your email inbox. I'll also include other handicapping information throughout the week and throughout the year on that Substack, so that's a good way to follow everything. And of course on Twitter at HorsePlayerNow, you can follow me there, and I usually link things up through there. So a lot of different ways to check it out. 20th season that we've done it. It's unapologetically for a serious horse fan. I call it a scouting report. It's not, it's not a thumbnail. You'll see it's 6, 7 pages every single week, and we've written, I believe, 1.1 or 1.2 million words over the 20 years. So there's a lot to it. But again, this is a labor of love. I love doing it. And we try to categorize it so it's big and it's bulky, but if you're just in there to kind of fish for a couple different things, I think it's organized in a way that you can get what you want out of it, right? You can get in and get out if you just want to see who the top 20 are, if you want to see who the allowance races are this weekend, or the stakes races, if you just want to read the recaps, or if you want to look at the stakes previews and picks. They're all kind of organized in a way that if you only wanted to read 400 words, you could get away with it. But we want you to dive in and take the whole thing in each week.
Yeah,
And that's for the podcast. Jeff and I do 2 podcasts each week. We do one on Tuesday called It's Official, where we recap the weekend of racing and kind of the big topics in racing. And then our Friday podcast, typically each week. We didn't do one this week because of the wildfires in Southern California. Jeff didn't have power this week, but thankfully his home was safe and he was safe after relocating and evacuating. So good news there. But we didn't do our Friday podcast first call, which we usually do state handicapping. So you can check those both out at the Horse Player Now YouTube page.
Yeah, and I just sit home at night and handicap usually in front of my computer, and you're one of the podcasts I have going on while I'm doing handicapping. There's a small handful that regularly watch you guys, and so I highly recommend it. And as you say, there's a lot on the countdown. Your top 20 previews, reviews of 3-year-old action, and your 3 things you won't read anywhere else. And this week you made a great point. This time of year, pay attention, and as you wrote it, I don't know whether you were writing earlier this week or late this week, but Oaklawn canceled over the weekend, and as you said, pay attention to tracks that may have some weather issues and horses that may miss workout time coming into an important prep. And I think that was a great point you made there. All right, let's jump into some of the action. Just have a few minutes here, but did want to hit on some of the interesting performances from last week, some horses that hit your top 20. And this one, I think, hit a lot of people's top 20, hit a lot of people's top 2 or 3 probably. We're going to go back to the San Vicente last weekend, and Barnes is going to be very impressive here. Barnes is going to be the number 2 horse. Nice winner for Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert's 14th win in the San Vicente. Barnes comes up with a 94 buyer figure. What were your impressions? I see you have him number 2 now on your top 20.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical because of the hype and the trip to Churchill where, he got into trouble and he had to work hard to win. This was a much, much better performance. Second start, that's what you want to see. A lot of good horses get beat in their first start, right? I mean, American Pharoah walked his first and then went on to, just steamroll everybody. Barnes almost lost that debut, but this was just so much better the second time professional. He looks like a good, they paid $3.1 million for a reason. The question with him, though, is if you go back and look at his pedigree, the third dam is Dream Supreme, and your New Yorker fans will know this one. She was one of the best 7 furlong sprinters I've ever seen. Will he go 2/3? That's going to be the question. But Baffert has a way of getting 2/3 with these. We've seen it over the years. Barnes looks like a good one. I think he'll probably stay on the Santa Anita and not be one who hits the road. He's already traveled once to Churchill. So I don't think, I think he'll be the one who stays home. And Baffert's got up towards the 6-7 potential prospects right now in January. So he's going to have to start separating and shipping at some point.
Yeah, big performances, I say, generated a lot of buzz, certainly on social media and whatnot. And so we shall see as Bob Baffert returns to Churchill Downs in the Kentucky Derby this year. And speaking of Bob Baffert, he had another winner this week that attracted a lot of attention. Second career start for Rodriguez. We'll take a look. This is a maiden race, but this attracted a lot of attention. Rodriguez is going to be the number 1 horse here. Got a solid 94 buyer immediately after the race, but then I guess it was based kind of later in the day on maybe Miramati and his numbers. They adjusted the number of the buyer now 101 for this performance. Yeah. Your thoughts on Rodriguez?
He looks smashing. A lot of times you see that on one of these undercard days where there's an undercard horse who might impress you as much as a horse in big stakes race. And look, he was just visually impressive in this particular race. The splits were solid all the way through, and he ran faster than Miramati, as you mentioned. Miramati's going to be one of the favorites towards the Santa Anita handicap coming up in a month's time. This was a big effort. The runner-up Bays at the half to Mage and Dornock. He beat a good horse in here, and he beat him very easily. This is a horse to keep an eye on. Rodriguez is going to be serious, and he looks almost quite authentic, and he's a half-brother to one liner, a horse who won the Southwest a couple of years ago. We're in Typical Special. Ran second in that race. So I think he'll get a distance. I think Rodriguez may be built for distance better maybe than even Barnes, but we will see in terms of which one of these horses has more talent down the road. But Rodriguez definitely want to keep an eye on.
Clearly impressed you. He's sitting number 6 on your top 20. It's going to be interesting to see how some of these lightly raced horses do. I think the next future poll is next week. It'll be interesting to see what attracts attention, including, and we just have about a minute left here, but I did want to look at John Hancock. I handicapped Tampa earlier this week and looked at this race, and I like Madhouse, who runs a very good second at 22-1, but I love the Calmer runners. So I landed on Madhouse, had John Hancock right underneath by Constitution, first from Brad Cox, but it will be number 2, John Hancock, getting it done. And again, he bumps into your list at number 12 on your top 20, so clearly you are impressed.
Yeah, this is, half-brother to Speech, a horse who, from Michael McCarthy, won the Ashland, third in the Kentucky Oaks. Blackhawk doesn't send him over to Tampa. I went back and looked at the Vetvic database. First time since 2019 he ran a horse there. So this was really visually nice. This horse looks like he's got a future. And I think that trip to Tampa was for purpose. He just didn't show up there, to try to find a spot. So I wouldn't be surprised if the horse, if Brad's going to have to separate his horses around the country. He wants to have one maybe for the Tampa Pass. Win Stars run horses in Tampa Bay Derby a lot over the years. Elliott Wolf even going back to his training career. So would not be surprised if it's Brian Cox's horse to go through the Tampa Pass. And he looks like a good one. Remember this, Seth, horses who won the Kentucky Derby, the last three winners of the Kentucky Derby, were 1 for 4 combined on this date. They 1 for 4 and 1 for 3 between the last two winners, and then May hadn't even started yet at this point. So you just have an amazing win in tow right now. This is so bad. I mean, if you look at the last three Derby winners, none of them had more than that at this stage in their 3-year-old careers.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and that's part of the fun of picking up Countdown to the Crown. A lot of those little tidbits, and I like the historical tidbits you throw in, mainly because I say it all the time. The Triple Crown, the 3-year-old season is our season. It's a real season. The 2-year-olds to me are the preseason. Then you get to January 1st, and you kind of regular season until maybe middle of March or early March, and from there until late April is your postseason, and then you go into the championship events. And so every year it's pretty similar. So I think the historical trends are interesting to check out. And as you can, as I say, you can check some of that out. Countdown to the Crown every Friday. Jeremy, appreciate the visit, and of course we'll be checking in during the Triple Crown season. Fun times.
All right. Well, next time I'll have my phone set. So good luck to Jason on his call today, and enjoy the rest of the show, everybody.
Jeremy, appreciate it. Jeremy Plonk, Countdown to the Crown, and more. We'll take a break. When we come back, Jason Beem from Tampa Bay Downs. 3 nice stakes on the card today. We'll look at those. Stay tuned.
Hello.
Hey, Jason, good morning. It's Seth.
All right, Seth. How are you?
Pretty good. Got me okay and everything?
Yep.
All right. I have you fine too. I have us going right in chronological order. Where are we? 4, 5, and 7.
Sure.
All right. And we'll let you off, like I say, with 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I'm good.
I'm a couple minutes late because I talked to Jeremy Plonk, and it took us a while to make contact yet. His phone wasn't working, so
Okay.
so we made a couple of minutes late. But we're in a commercial right now. I think is it the last commercial?
About 40 seconds.
Okay, yeah. So we're getting close.
Okay.
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Not 30 seconds.
Fifteen. Stand by. Stand by.
Welcome back to Racing Across America on this Saturday morning. Seth Merrow in the studio, joined now by our friend Jason Beem from Tampa Bay Downs. I always say it's one of my favorite tracks, although I haven't been there in way too long. I used to be kind of a regular down there. My dad was retired down in Bradenton, so I would go down and visit him a couple of times in winter and pop up to Tampa Bay. Really enjoy it. One of my favorite tracks all year long. I love the wintertime, love Tampa, and I love Oak Lawn as well. And with a nice stakes day, I thought we'd reach out to Jason. Good morning.
How we doing, Seth? It's a little chilly here by Florida standards, but we're doing all right. We should be fast and firm, and there's no scratches in the face so far, so that's good too.
Oh, excellent. And I'll talk over on the East Coast as well, occasionally with Brian Nadeau, and we talk with Ron Nicoletti and whatnot. And you guys are all, yeah, it's a little chilly down here. It's only like 60, 62. It's snowing and 20 up here, so ho down there. We live vicariously watching you guys.
Well, I told a friend of mine, I said, I'll hear more complaints about the weather here this week than I will from any of my friends in Kentucky or it's true, like you get acclimated down here, so when it's just down to the 40s or 50s, like it's crazy.
Yeah, I always say, one of my favorite stories, like I said, I used to go and visit all the time when my dad was alive. We lived down there. And it'd be January. I'm on the beach. It's like 65, 66 maybe. I'm on the beach, t-shirt, swimsuit. The natives are walking by in parkas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's funny because I'm from Seattle, so I was used to cold weather. When I got here, I thought I was dying from the heat. Like anytime the humidity was awful. I was 100 pounds heavier too, so that probably made a difference. But like now I've completely become a local in that place. Like I went back to the house in a while. I was cold the whole time.
Uh, we'll get to the stakes in a minute. I wanted to touch on one thing. Oh, first of all, again, if you visit Jason's Twitter page, he will link. He does nice write-ups every week. He has a podcast during the week. Oh, and I'll mention you had a good article this week of things you'd like to see go away. And run-ups. I'm with you. I don't get the whole. And I was going to say, I think maybe the industry is going that way. Some tracks have kind of made that move to do away with the run-up, but it's hard to figure out why that ever became a thing.
I try my test on that is I try to explain to somebody who doesn't know much about racing, and like they look at you like you're a insane person. Yeah, well, it's just a mile race, just run a mile. You know, we had some races before the last couple where the run up was if you're 15th a mile, and it just seems crazy, especially with like a mile race.
Yeah, I agree. And then you also tossed in the term penultimate, and I had to laugh at it because I throw that in every once in a while. I do it kind of tongue in cheek, but I don't know whether people do it because it is a thing. And so I will throw that in myself every once. And finally, before we get to the races, um, whenever I have a guest on, I go and I look at their social media and whatnot. And I was looking at your Instagram page. And I know a while ago, I don't remember how long ago it was, but following social media, I remember you had a painting of a fire truck, but you did it like one of those sip and paint kind of.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was assuming that was like your foray, your entry into paint. That's what I thought. And now geez, you're good. The party fight thing was great.
No, it was funny. I went on a first date to one of those paint strip places, and there was no second date, but I was adamant about like the painting was really fun, and so yeah, I bought a little set the next day, and subsequently I took a class and I watched a million YouTube videos on how to do it. I kind of switched to oils from acrylic where I started, but it's been a very very fun hobby. You know, I don't when you move somewhere new, you don't know what's up. You kind of got to entertain yourself for a lot of the time. And, that's been my long time hobby here.
Well, I applaud you. The painting was very, particularly because, as I said, I think that was maybe within the last couple of years or so. You're good at it. Yeah, nice.
I appreciate it. Probably been 2 years of it.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump into the steak section. And again, give us a little update on the weather again.
Yeah, it's cold, as I said. No, it's just kind of overcast. I don't think it's supposed to rain, but I don't want to jinx it with that. There is a pretty steady headwind for the weather down the backstretch. Only took 2 hours most times. But you know that might be something to take note of in terms of where they practice, where it's late. And these 3-year-olds, they're now 3-year-olds, and they're still 7 furlongs. You know, if they get going at it pretty hot into a pretty stiff breeze, it could be a little bit change of space as the race goes on.
Yeah, interesting. All right, the Pasco kicks things up. We were talking earlier in the show about, we're now making the first steps along the Triple Crown Trail for 3-year-olds as the calendar turned on January 1st. We had a nice set of 3-year-old stakes races last weekend, all of which were kind of interesting, and the Pasco adds to that. Field of 6 schedule, clearly Owen Almighty is going to take a lot of action for Brian Lynch. Comes out of a second in the Iroquois 2-back, won the juvenile at Ellis Park. I pulled up a replay, and we're going to watch a maybe special event, Belmont at the Big A. It'll be #1 rookie card, getting it done for Danny Cardigan. This was the 3rd start of the career, seemed to benefit from the experience and kind of pulls away and opens things up. I will say I find Naughty Rascal very interesting for Gerald Bennett. How did you see the pass go?
I love Naughty Rascal. I thought his effort in the honor was very good. Donut guy was kind of just cruising up front. And he was, Naughty Rascal was in behind horse a little bit early, kind of slipped under stone to the turn. And he was just in chase mode the whole time. And by the end, he was kind of steady to Donut guy. I don't know if that was geared down, but I don't know, I just thought it was a visually pretty, not impressive, but although it was maybe a little better than it looked, I just thought he looked like a nice horse, maybe Donut guy.
And it'll be interesting to see how it breaks out odds-wise, because Ono Almighty, as I say, is certainly going to take action. I think Rookie Card may get some action as well. And 5-2 on the morning line, Naughty Rascal, who on the morning line is shorter than Rookie Card. I'm going to be interested to see how that shakes out because I'm with you. Naughty Rascals is interesting, and Gerald Bennett, anything he sends out down there is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the IRAD factor in terms of the odds is pretty significant. It seems like when he goes to quote-unquote smaller tracks, like the one he follows it even more than does at the big track, when he comes to Colonial, it's like he's dodging out almost every race. And so, I'm sure a lot of money will fall that way. I've just seen too many horses that have, been off for the winter and come back at 3, that were good at 2, just get so overfed and they get beat so often that it's just hard to take super tough fights. If Owen Almighty takes a step forward and he wins and he's great, that's great for them, but not for me. It's really 5, 4, and 5.
Great point about IRAD. He's in town, and he will clearly, you get the IRAD tax, he will take money, no question about it. He's also on board, one of the favorites in the Gasparilla. This one for a 3-year-old fillies going 7 furlongs, and I pulled up a replay of the IRAD horse. He's going to be on Mrs. Worldwide for Brian Lynch. This is the Sandpiper from earlier at the Tampa meet. Miss Worldwide is the number 4 horse here, and it looks good. There are a couple others in here. I think if they can get up and throw in a best effort, win and you're in. On the outside, he's in fact the morning line favorite for Carlos David, and could be a little bit of a player. Coming out of the third in the Sandpiper, Dancing Magic, I think, is intriguing. But how did you see the Gasparilla?
Yeah, I went back and watched that replay of the Sandpiper the other night, and this is where line was very good. Like, Dancing Magic, I kept trying to want to make it excuse, but really I think this is where line was the fastest that everything's kind of way around. And so I'm a little bit against it. I thought Liz Milky Way was an interesting addition. I love that Jose Carrera's getting on board. He had a really good start to the season here. I think he's 20% for the beat. And, he's got pushing 60 years old at this point. He might be over. But he's a total speed rider, and I look for Liz Milky Way to kind of stand here. Who knows? Maybe the price could be a little dangerous. I don't think there's that much in behind. I mean, what you're in a major question mark after that. A lot of people are going to say the distance, but, I don't know. I thought maybe try to be a little compare here to Milky Way. I thought it was a pretty candidate.
Yeah, when you're in, to me, it does look like a distance situation, but you're right. You just never know on one race. You have to put 2 together to find out, and that means we won't know until after it's done, so we'll see how that plays. All right, and finally, let's take a look at the Wayward Last. This one for Phillies Mares, going 8.5 furlongs. I'm going to play around a little bit in here with a price. I have American Retro on top. Literate in the second spot for me. Through Penoir in the mix as well, who I think is interestingly named, coming out of the damn beehive hairdo. So I guess looking at a 60s type of a theme there, perhaps. But again, I pulled up a replay, maybe Special Weight event, searched him down last June. So this is going back a ways for American Retro. But it was at 7 furlongs. It was a solid maiden breaker. Horse has been on the turf the past few starts. Ian Wilkes is having a nice past few weeks. And this one comes in off a nice workout with Palmetto. So I'm taking a little shot with American Retro, but how did you see the Wayward Last?
Yeah, I got a little bit of trouble with this race. Marty Drexler's a trainer up in Woodbine, who I know is a stock and dead up there. And we don't see him run down here very often. We have this year, and I'm not literally saying that this is the only race on dirt was like a year ago. It was, it was just a long time ago. The four seats have been a much different horse since moving to Molly Bard since 35 years old. So I thought maybe this thing was Lance, Sammy Camacho, who I don't know, I think Sammy's up 1 right now with Sammy Marin. So he's plenty of leading jockey, Sammy Camacho being on board. I thought he was over this thing, that might be a little bit of a price.
All right, I've got those in the mix, so I'll play around a little bit myself. But perhaps a little exact the box kind of a play. Jason, appreciate it. And, you mentioned Marty Drexler doesn't start too much in Tampa. How about Brad Cox showing up the other day with John Hancock? We just talked about that earlier in the show. And I have a feeling, now that he has a bunch of horses over on the east coast of Florida, I have a feeling you'll see a little more of him over at Tampa this year.
Yeah, that horse was pretty impressive. I thought he got a pretty good speed figure, with year down and all that. But, I think Brad Cox horses tend to be pretty good because they're from the best horse.
Yeah.
And so, I heard about how he was going to talk to him in the offseason. He said he wants to take it over. He had a Amy at Western 6 today, so I know they said he ran
Anderson. They both ran third, and so I expect a little turnaround. We'll see how it works out. But it was a nice start, which I think like the other day. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Let you get back to work as you have scratches and changes and whatnot coming up. Again, enjoy the product you guys put out down there. Pass along my thoughts to everybody, and good luck on the afternoon. We'll talk again.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
All right. Jason Beem from Tampa Bay. Really nice stage car down there today, stepping along the 3-year-old scene with Pascal and more. All right. Let me take one more break with the first post time at Nymer today. I was expecting them to come up just about this time with the pregame show, but I'm looking at the monitor up there, and they're not doing that yet. So I'll take a break. I'll come back, and we'll wind up the show momentarily, but stay tuned.
You're clear.
Your career in horse racing off to a fast start. The University of Arizona's racetrack industry program is your winning ticket. The racetrack industry program has served as a springboard to some of the industry's most successful individuals. With a proven track record of top placement and right technology. If you want to earn a degree in the exciting horse racing industry, the racetrack industry program can put you in the winner's circle.
Sometimes it's tedious to go with the flow, to check your words at the door. But if you have something cool, to follow the flow and the flavor. So go with it and feel it taste real. To enjoy every minute to its fullest. And again, like there's no tomorrow. You can do that here. At Rivers Casino and Resort Tennessee. So this is time flow.
Stand by. Five, four, three, two, one, and
Welcome back to Racing Across America. We hit on some of the stakes action today in New York with the ladies. They have the Sunshine 2 stakes races down at Gulfstream, corresponding out in Southern California, Cal Cup Derby and some California Cup races, and they also have Sunshine Millions building their third sprint. So there's some stakes action out in Southern California. They are scheduled to be back in action at Santa Anita. With the fire situation and the air quality, they didn't race yesterday. And it's still very early out there. I haven't seen anything. I looked early, so it was really early when I looked, but I haven't seen any update. I hadn't seen anything when I went on earlier about any change because they were planning to run today. But again, with that kind of fluid situation with the fires out there, that there's the possibility of changing, but check, because they're planning to run today out at San Antonio, and again, we have some stakes action. Have the 3 stakes down in Tampa as well. Oaklawn has the Pippin, so some nice stakes action today. We'll be covering much of it on OTV Live a little bit later this afternoon. We'll pick that up. First race at Aqueduct is 12:10. And as I say, I'm surprised the 12:10 post time this winter, they've typically been kicking off the pregame show about 10:40, 10:45, because they usually do it an hour and a half before post time. So I'm wondering if maybe for some reason it's not having one, or maybe it's just a little bit longer to start. But again, look it up at the monitor. He really says the number of the tracks on it, and number is not in. Oh, there we go. All right, perfect timing. They are now going to the logo, and what I assume will be the pregame. So I will wrap it up. Before I do that, I will once again remind you that today's a fan appreciation day at Sam Lane's in Troy. If you're a patron there, stop on by so we can say thank you to you. There'll be food, there'll be PPs, there's a contest. Fan appreciation day, always a lot of fun. This afternoon, Uncle Sam Lane's in Troy. Today here at the Clubhouse Racebook, $100 knockout challenge. We'd love to have you stop on by and join us for some extra fun. Clubhouse Facebook, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. Same spot again, some football tomorrow, playoffs, have some fun, watch some football, maybe grab a little lunch at Black Bear. Right here, Clubhouse Facebook. Racing and football on Sundays, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. How about the college playoff games? The Thursday night game was fabulous with Notre Dame. I always think that when I'm not rooting for a team, I hate to see a game get won or lost on a bad play. So I kind of felt bad for the quarterback that took the interception at the end of the game. But it was a good game. I think that interesting game last night as well. I think it's going to make for a fun college championship. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, I'm going to wrap it up because they're going to be kicking things off in New York. I'll be back noontime or so a little over an hour to ramp it up for OTV Live for Saturday afternoon. Looking forward to it. And again, bankroll team. Ooh, everybody walked away with some money yesterday, and nice, just under $40 for everybody on the team. Free money from Capital OTV, but it could have been much better. It was just like I say, the worst possible situation with a horse that was taking a lot of money, becoming a late scratch. All of that then gets transferred to the favorite, which was the horse we had that won. So it went from an $890 will pay to a $390 actual pay. And it's like, that's what this game does. We win here. Kind of cursing this guy, but again, it was a little bit of free money for everybody. So congratulations to the bankroll team. Keep checking out the promotions page. We will keep announcing the promotions, but check out the page on the website for upcoming events and contests and bankrolls and whatnot, because you can get a little extra something, courtesy of Capital TV. But now let's send it to Naira. They're hitting on scratches and changes. Stay tuned. I'll be back in about an hour with OTV Live.
And here's that.
We would like to thank Gulfstream Park for their sponsorship of this program and some of the other programming events here at Capital OTV. Gulfstream Park's championship meet runs now through March 30th with high-quality action throughout, including the Florida Derby on Saturday, March 29th. You're watching OTV, a service of Capital Park. Thank you.